Mitram and Bandhu, welcome to South Asia Maps, the intellectual Kshatriya's education channel that brings India-centric culture and heritage topics to you, and I also post other related topics. Today's presentation is human ecology, human predicament, especially works from Dr. Catton's pioneering books Overshoot. This is part of human ecology. We are facing a dilemma, the impasse, catch-22 position on the planet Earth today with 8 billion population. Understanding the detritus ecosystem, DetritiVore, detrito, sometimes it is spelled O also here or I, detritus and detritivore. Vor means eating, carnivore, carnal eaters or flesh eaters. Herbivore, the plant material eaters. Omnivores, eat anything, plant material, animal material. Detritivore, a consumer, eater of detritus, decaying organic material. In this 42nd part, I will be talking about algae as a detritivorous and how it implies to us. This is the 47. So here all my so far the ecology presentations, I organize them here. You can peruse them 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40 and 45. Today's presentation 47, DetritiVore. This series I will talk about the remaining, that is DetritiVore algae, next DetritiVore yeast, the next DetritiVore Homo colossus, that is gigantic human being, then DetritiVore cars. That will be the 50. I have not added here the 51. That will be, I will be looking all these, the 5 together in one place, that is the 51. These are the very important, they have all the similarities. If you understand these detritivorous ecosystem, detritus ecosystem, you will get a very good conceptual view of what the tragedy humans are facing today. And that is about the today's presentation. And this is Dr. Catton and his monumental book Overshoot, and you can present similar videos at my YouTube channel South Asia Maps Reddy. There are more than 30 playlists so far with 260 videos, and you can also find me at Twitter, the India Maps 2, that is the handle of the Twitter site. DetritiVore, detritus eating algae. Algae is nothing but an organism that is a biotic kingdom, a plant kingdom, the microscopic one. All the detritivorous organisms have bloom and crash life cycle. Detritivore is the organism that feeds on the dead matter, decaying organic material. You can see here detritus, detritivore. Take for example the typical earthworm eats the decaying dead organic matter, that is a detritivore, and a dung beetle, that is a detritivore, and so on. Detritus ecosystem and detritivore. The characteristic features of detritivores are here I have mentioned. And the general characteristics of detritus ecosystem mentioned here: voyage of the Europeans into a new habitat, a new world. That means the old world, Europe, Africa, Asia, into the new world, the 2 Americas. When these organisms, the humans, found a new habitat with plenty of resources, that is a resource-laden world, that is the new world. The population bloomed. You can see the population blooming here. Blooming means essentially eruption, the growth, increase in the number of organisms. And population eruption, then exuberant phase, because their numbers are growing. Imagine they're in an exuberant phase or in a happy phase, in a jovial atmosphere condition psychologically. Anthropomorphically thinking in the terms of humans. This is the algae, this algal organism we are talking about here. They are growing when they find the plenty of resources, and when these organisms responded for new resources, they have bloomed, they have erupted, they have grown, they eventually accumulate the extra metabolite, their own products that will change the habitat. That means that will destroy the habitat. The habitat, the algal pond, which was very good to begin with, now becomes very hostile to these organisms. So these innocent, incautious organisms that bloomed, that erupted, now they crash, they die off. This is the algal bloom, this is the algal class. How do you represent this generic detritus ecosystems? Is very simple. In the North American countries and northern latitudes, at the time of the fall, all the leaves fall and they will be washed away to the ponds. They will be accumulating and they will be decaying and dying and releasing the nutrients. That are the detritus. When the winter sets in, that is December, January, February and so on, the cold temperature keeps none of these algae to grow. Once the warm spring starts, that is the after the equinox, that the spring starts, that is the March 21st starts. So the temperatures start growing, temperatures increase. That means the pond with full of leaves now is rich in nutrients. That limiting factor, cold temperature, is lifted. Now the algae start booming in the late spring and warm summer. They have very short life cycle. They will bloom tremendously if you go and see. And once they bloom, they destroy, deplete all the nutrients, and they will die off eventually. The same cycle starts again. So detritus ecosystems have the bloom and crash life cycle. Then what is the coroner's report? In the Western country, if any person dies, a non-medical officer makes a brief preliminary report that is called coroner's report. Why? Is the medical professional, non-medical professional, a government official, inquiry about the cause of the death of the person. The person died in an accident, the person died in a homicide, and so on. So, where and when this person died, the location, and probable cause of death is not a forensic but a preliminary generic, and circumstances. If you make the coroner's report of this algal pond organisms, microscopic organism, the coroner report says they all died of self-inflicted pollution. That means they died due to nutrient depletion. They died to resource depletion and exhaustion of nutrients that is needed for them to live. That is the coroner's report. We see the similar things in other detritus ecosystems. Today we looked at part 47, algae. The detritus ecosystems have the bloom and crash. They bloomed, these microscopic organisms inconscious when there's a plenty of resources. They bloomed, resource depletion, exhaustion, habitat destruction, pollution. They all passed away, died. So that is about the detrivores ecosystems, and this is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy at South Asia Maps Education channel. And if you like these presentations, you can subscribe the channel. If you are listening me at ShareChat site or so, please post your comments and any of the things you would like the presentations to take into consideration to meet your requirements or expectations. See you later in other presentations. Thank you very much. Dr. J. Reddy.